Hi campers, welcome to All About Apps. I'm Jen, I'm going to be your teacher for the next 2 weeks, but I'm not here today. I'm on video because I'm in Africa. I'll be back by Wednesday, but we're going to get started on some of the important things that we can do. So first let me explain exactly where I am. But before where I am, let's show where you are. So this is a Google Earth image of where you are right now. So you are over here in this building. This is called the Solarium, and you're at the Watkinson School. The University of Hartford is over here, and you must have walked up through these parking lots right here. But I right now am in the continent of Africa, in the country of Uganda. So let's fly over there, and we'll get to see where I am. So Uganda is an amazing country where I do work in different schools, teaching students just like you all about technology. And I'm right now finishing up my trip, and I will be back in 2 days by Wednesday to see you. And I'll explain a little more in a video tomorrow about all the cool work that I do in Uganda. So if you're really interested in what I'm doing in Uganda, you can look on the wall behind me, the big green wall next to you, or over on the back wall, because I have tons of pictures about the last time I went to Uganda, which was last year when I take students from this school, Watkinson School. But for now, you are at All About Apps, where we are going to do all different kinds of things with iPads. We're going to play games. We're going to use them in really cool ways, indoors and outdoors. Along the way, every time you do a major accomplishment, you will get one of these. These are little badges or pins that'll represent all the achievements that you've done over the course of our camp. Now, what are we going to do for the first few days? Well, I'm going to do something I really wish I could be here with you because I love it so much. But for the first few days, we're going to be doing all different kinds of things with coding. Now, many of you might have had a lot of experience with coding because a lot of you have done something called the Hour of Code or have played different kinds of coding games or apps. But basically, coding are the instructions or rules that tell a computer what to do. It could also be telling your iPad what to do. It could be telling your phone what to do. But it's a series of codes, and you can see a whole bunch scrolling past here, that tell the computer to do different things at different times. And learning how to write code and learning how to use kind of the thinking like you would use in code is a really important skill because someday you might be writing your own apps or changing a program that you have to do things that you really want to. So for many of you, this may be your introduction into coding. You may have done an hour of code at school or just on your own. And later, today or tomorrow, you'll be able to go in, if you want to, into the Hour of Code website. If you click on the little activities tab that I show you with the purple arrow, there's tons of cool games in which basically as you're playing, you're learning how to instruct computers, iPads or apps, to do lots of different things. Later on, some of you will be using the actual iPads today, and hopefully you'll find a whole bunch of different coding apps from Scratch to Codable, which is this adorable little fluff ball here. It's a really fun app. There's ones like Tinkercad and Hopscotch, so tons of different apps. And what I'd like is for about half of you today to take time to play on the coding apps, and that will help you to win your first badge. The other half of you are going to be playing this very cool game called Code Monkey Island. It was created by a computer programmer who really wanted to begin teaching students how to do coding in a really simple game. So as you play this game, you start to learn the instructions you give a computer. Do this, then that, or if this happens, then that happens. Or maybe you have choices. Do this or this. So it's a very fun game, and we have it right in the room. In fact, we have 2 boards, and half of you today will be playing on one of the 2 boards. You can have 4 people play up to one time. The object of Code Monkey game is you have 3 little plastic monkeys that you start in your colored circle, and then they have to go all the way around the board until they can make it back to the center and get their bananas in the banana grove. Now, as you're playing, you should always have 3 cards in your hand at any given time, and each card has a special instruction that is just like the kind of instruction you would have in a computer app or on an iPad. So as you can see, here's the box at my Code Monkey Island. I have two boxes, so maybe we can have two different teams playing at the ends of the U. The board, here we go, and here are the little monkeys. I'll show you the monkey here. Here's a green one. We have green, yellow, oops, there's the yellow. We have green, yellow, blue, and red. So you'll get 3 of these. You'll start in your spot, and then you'll slowly start moving all the way around the board until you get back to your arrow and end up in the banana grove. So depending on how much time you have today, we can say the person who wins has the most monkeys in the grove, or maybe the first person to get all 3. Even if someone gets all 3, keep playing. It's a really fun game. The basic instructions are, you always have 3 of these. These are your guide cards, and your guide cards give you little special instructions. All right, and as you go around the board, sometimes you land on things called fruit, and then you take a fruit card, and the fruit tells you to do a special treat or special message. Now, some fruits, most of them, are delicious and really good, and they'll tell you to do something really good, like maybe trade spaces with somebody who's ahead of you. That's a good one. But there are also some that are called rotten fruit, which tell you to do things like go backwards and don't help out your game. But they're just, you land on them every once in a while. There's also something called a boost in a bottle. And if you ever land on a little spot that has one of these bottles, you get to take it. And what happens is it's a boost. It'll tell you how many spaces you can move ahead, not this turn, but the next turn. So it's a little boost that'll happen the next time you go around. So if you're playing and you move 4 spots, then you get to actually move 4 plus 14 and move 18 spots. And that gets your monkey much closer to the middle. Now, one thing that I'm going to have for you today is I'm going to have this printed out sheet that gives all the basic instructions on how to play. So move all your monkeys around the board. One good thing is you can start 1 monkey at a time, or you could get all 3 monkeys moving eventually. Really all you need to do is pick one person to start, and you pick the instructions from one of your cards. So if I'm looking at my cards right now, I have 3 cards, and I decide which one's the best one for me to use. If you can't move any of your monkeys, your cards are impossible, they just don't allow you to work, you can take one of your 3 cards, put it in the discard pile, and then pick a new one. And maybe that will help you to move. When you use a card and you start moving the monkey based on that card, put it in the discard and always take a new green guide card. Always have 3 in your hand. One thing I didn't talk about before is something called quicksand. And quicksand, you can see here, this spot. If you land on it, you get stuck there. And you're only stuck for 1 round, so it's really not a big deal. Just take a pause, take a rest, let everyone go through their round, and then you can get back in it. If you land on someone else's square, so say I'm a blue monkey and I land on a square that already has a red monkey, I can send the red monkey to the nearest quicksand, and then they get stuck there for just 1 turn. What I mentioned before, there's lots of fruits, so if you land on a fruit, take your fruit card. Maybe it'll be good fruit and maybe it'll be rotten. We have to just see. And then your boost. Your boost will allow you to boost yourself in the next round. All right. Now you might be saying, why am I playing a board game? I came to an iPad camp. Well, remember, these instructions on these cards are the same kinds of code that you're going to use when you are coding an app, a program, or anything on a computer. So it's a really good skill. It's a really fun game. And for half of you, you're going to play this game today, and the other half is going to be using the iPads. Now, while half of you are playing Code Monkey Island and the half using the coding apps. Now don't forget, you could also go, and instead of just using the apps, you could go to thehourofcode.com and click on the little activities tab and play any of the games that are there. Now, after today, you're going to tomorrow do the other activity. So all the Code Monkey Island students, campers, will go to the coding apps, and all the coding apps will go to Code Monkey Island. And in 2 days, you're going to be doing these 2 activities. When I come back on Wednesday, you're going to get your first badge, which is your coding badge. So you've got instructions on how to play Code Monkey Island. We have the iPads in the room. Now it's time to get working. Hi campers, so welcome to day 2. I hope you had a good time playing Code Monkey Island or some of the coding apps. And no, today you're going to do the opposite activity and that will earn you your badge. One thing I mentioned yesterday was that the whole reason I'm not here is that I've been in Uganda. Actually today I'm flying home and we'll get into JFK Airport in New York City and I'll be back with you tomorrow. But I also promised that I'd show you a little bit about what does Jen do when she goes to Uganda. Well, let me show you. So this is a video that we made to show the students what we do there. Enjoy. All right, we really have two options today. Half of you who did Code Monkey Island yesterday are going to do the iPads using any of the apps or going to the Hour of Code website by using the Safari app. Or you're going to grab some monkeys and 3 guide cards and start your adventure around the board. Just a few things to remind you if you didn't get to play yesterday. You always have 3 guide cards in your hand. You use the best one you can at the given time. When you're done with a card, you put it in the discard pile and pick up a new one. So you always have 3 cards. Sometimes you land on a fruit square. So when you have the fruit, you get them. You sometimes get ones like this, which is a rotten fruit, which is going to tell you to go, well, this one says go back 9 spaces. So it wasn't very good, but it's not going to hurt in the long run. And then sometimes you get really good fruit, and this one says move ahead. And remember, the goal is you want to get your 3 monkeys all the way around the board from your round square to the banana grove. And you can have actually all of these monkeys out on the board moving around in different spots. The good thing about that is sometimes when you get a card, you might want to use one card on one monkey because it won't work on the other ones, or that monkey might be even better. Now, one thing I do want to mention is if you get a card and it's really confusing, ask the counselors for help. They can help you. Also, if you find that you can't use any of the cards, I can't move any of my monkeys, they're all stuck and none of these work, you can take one card, discard it, and then pick up a new one. And hopefully this new one will let you move a little bit. Another thing to watch out for on the board are the quicksands. They're the little brown swirly ones. If you land on it, you just get stuck for 1 turn, so it's not that bad. If you land on someone else's square, so if I land on this same square as this green monkey, I send the green monkey to the nearest quicksand, which is kind of cool. And they're just stuck there for 1 turn, and then we continue on. And remember, just depending on time, if you have lots of time and everyone can get all 3 monkeys there, the first person to get all 3 wins. I definitely recommend that if you're playing and 1 person wins, keep playing, keep going with it. It's really fun. And remember, why are we doing this? Because all of these cards are actual computer code messages that are in apps and computers, phones, really all of our technology. So a really fun game. And like I said, if I get back tomorrow and you've done both the coding apps and the Code Monkey Island, you get your first badge. All right, so let's just review. What are we doing today? So day 2 of camp is either Code Monkey Island or coding apps, with the goal that by the end of today you have accomplished both of these coding tasks. And then we'll start doing a whole bunch of new things with the iPads, taking them outside, working with them inside, games, apps, lots of fun over the next 2 weeks. So I'm Jen. I'm your teacher for the next 2 weeks, and I'm flying back right now, but I will be with you tomorrow. So have a great day. Be really nice to the campers, really nice to the counselors, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.